Evening everybody. Right, we're going to do a bit of an experiment. This is the first build it video. I've chosen this junior set because it's brand new and it should be a quick build, and I know that really long videos put people off, so even though they might be full of information here and there, you know, keeping people's attention is sometimes problematic. So here goes. Let's give it a go. This is stage one. These are all the parts you need for stage one, and of course we've got the tools to do the job. Now, I don't suppose I'll say too much because I'll run out of things to say. But that's a standard bolt and a nut, of course. You put it on there. I am making notes of the time it takes to do the model, but of course you're doing half a dozen things at the same time. You notice they put the wrong part on then. Here we got one of those washers I mentioned in the set review, and this is only just about long enough. What you may find though, that there are, it is quite shiny, this plastic stuff, and you may find that things come apart. Now we have a problem here. Really we could do with two spanners. I'm going to have to hold this and tighten it by hand. Let's hope I can grip it enough. Yeah, I think so. To do for that. On to stage two. So folks, this is stage two. I don't think I mentioned I'm actually building the A model, the main model from the set, which is this one here. The little digger. And we're going to fit these parts now for stage two onto the parts we put together in stage one. So first of all we'll put that there and that there. You notice I only do them loosely to start with, just to get them started. Must have, these plastic screwdrivers are a bit awkward to hold, they're quite slippy really. They could do a bit more grip, and then that goes through there. There we go. It's been a bit of a pain even so far doing this, forgetting to put cameras on and things like that. Make sure it's square. Sometimes working a little blind, but we'll give it a go. I'd say it's going to be a lot easier with these sort of things than it is full on set. But that's stage two. Next for number three. No washer used in this stage. I had a tune on the radio this morning, still in my head, so if you hear me doing funny noise, it's that tune's problem, or fault I should say. There we are. Stage three. Now number four. Well folks, we've got a bit of an error in the parts listing, which is a rarity really. Parts listing here says we only need one of these angle brackets are they double bent strips I suppose, or double angle strips. We only need one of them according to the parts list, and then one bolt and one nut. Well obviously we need two. So that's the first little problem with the instructions. Let's hope they don't recur too much, eh? Nice thing about these, I never remember them double angled or double bent strips, these. They've got a bit of moulding in the back, so you don't need the spanner on them. You just go like that, just try and keep it reasonably square. A little bit off. A little bit. Let's hope this works folks. It's a bit of an effort really, but I suppose it being different makes it in some ways easier to do, I suppose. It's nice to try things differently. I dare say because of the big parts as well helps a lot with the viewing as well. Be awkward if it's tiny little parts. Plus I'd have to lean over more. Oh, not quite square, is it? Yeah, nearly. That's better. That's better. Right, that's stage four. On to stage five. So folks, don't need that part of the construction yet. On to stage five. So basically repeating the early stages, which is no Nothing really new, is it, in Meccano? There's a lot of symmetry in certain... I'm doing that wrong straight away. A lot of symmetry in Meccano models, I find, which ain't so bad, because once you work out what you're doing on one side, especially if it's a freestyle model, then the other side is usually easy to do. And I've missed a nut from the parts list, but I do have the nuts already sorted out from everything else, so it ain't too hard to find them. Make sure that's square. Where's my spanner? There we go, that's that one. I think we could do with more than one spanner in a set sometimes. It's so much easier to do this. I mean, I can grip this quite tight, but what about a young kid? And I know when you get a couple of sets, if you go that far, you'll have more than enough, but you know, maybe due to problems like that, they don't buy any more sets. So there we go. Anyway, that's stage 5. Next, stage 6. Folks, if I seem a bit quiet, I suppose, it's because I'm trying to concentrate at the same time. I've been watching some videos of late on YouTube, and motorbiking videos, and very good, very nicely put together, and better editing than I do, but I must get some decent editing software, as long as it doesn't take up my life, which this is taking quite a bit of time, this sort of thing. And then people talk about all sorts of things when they're riding their motorbikes, and they are good videos, I must admit. I respect them folks. They do a lot of good effort, and it must take your life sometimes. I mean, this video like is it's better now we've got broadband and decent broadband, but it's you know, the editing alone, and the fun bit is doing them, I think, generally, but it's the editing that's the time consuming. Anyway, next, stage 7. Yeah, I dare say you've noticed this. It's actually a t-shirt covering a piece of plywood forming part of the stage. You should just be able to see him there. That's Frankie. Sorry, that's Freddie. I do apologise. Freddie Meccano. He appears on a few t-shirts and other related garments. I'm struggling here to get this one to bite. Got a few Meccano t-shirts and some mugs and stuff, mostly sourced by my other half, and do try to wear them at some events, whether they're Tim's or any other events for that matter. Right, we're getting on quite well now. So far, 2 halves presumably. We get on with stage 8. Yeah, stage 8, we're going to join the 2 halves together. I wonder if I start whistling a tune, I wonder if it'd be good enough to be recognised by YouTube and zap the video. Very annoying, that is. I know it's copyright, and I appreciate that, as I've done a bit of photography and been on the, well, I'm going to say the wrong side of the receiving end of piracy, really, although it was in a nice way. Chap, obviously, to my mind anyway, basically took one of my photographs off my website I used to have, and he drew it, which is, what a bad picture. I mean, you could say it was a compliment, but he drew it, and effectively he copied my photographs, so, you know, I do appreciate the copyright thing, but sometimes I could use a little bit of music to demonstrate things, but that'll come. Stage number 9. Well, folks, I've gone wrong. You didn't tell me, did you? Put this in the wrong place. That's not looking where the red lines go. My fault on this occasion, not Meccano. I normally do these sort of mistakes when I'm tired. I build some Meccano models at some strange hours on break time at work, and if you're knights you can imagine what you feel like sometimes, but it does form a good sort of a break period. Do a little bit here and there at times, which is a little bit different. Right, now I can do number 9. La da da. I suppose I don't really want anything else to distract you when you're building models, but there you go. All for the cause, the hobby. The hobby, yes, now there's a thing, the hobby. What will the hobby be like if it's still around in, oh I don't know, 15, 20 years time? I suppose it will still be around, but it'll be very different to what is about now, I think. We've got, sure that's right, yep. The hobby is changing. Well, it's always been changing and evolving, I suppose, but it's changing even more. The elder people are, well, let's be honest, dying. But, of course, that does happen. And stage 10. I'll leave the camera running for this one. Sort of give you an appreciation of what I do between shots. Right. Washer. I do like these rubber washers, really good. Nut. And an angled bracket which is hiding somewhere. Another part that's got like moulded sections to hold the nuts. Makes it a lot easier. Okay. Right. Oh, I got that wrong on all again. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, the hobby is changing. People are getting older, and it'll be different people, I think, in future. It'll be people people that do more modern, I'd say modern, not modern stuff, but more stuff of the time, you might say. And because of that, well, I think I'm going to lose some of it, some of the tradition. Not all tradition's good, of course, but certainly some new ideas are good, but not always the case. And we shouldn't be frightened of change, I suppose, but we do moan about it. I know I do. And I think it'll be a lot less, in some ways, a lot less adventurous in the form of a hobby. A lot less imagination, I think. But there we go. I think I can see where they've been using some of these washers, like this one here. Using it for where there's 1-bolt fixings to aid grip, because I don't think there'd be a, I don't know, maybe there is a case of otherwise the bolts might clash, which means the system is not quite as well sorted as it ought to be, really, compared to the other ones, or the traditional metal Meccano, where you can get 2 bolts end on together just about. Right then, we'll carry on, eh? Not a lot of use of the spanner these last few stages. I suppose it is good. You need a quick build, even if it is made to look a lot more slow and difficult, because I'm doing it. Right, that's stage 11. Stage 12. Of course, folks, if you're fed up of hearing me, and I don't blame you one bit for that. Oh, there's a shame. The bucket won't be able to pivot because it ain't lock nutted, and there ain't enough to do it. And you haven't got 2 spanners, and there's no lilac nuts. Now here we've got a little bit of a problem, haven't we? I hope I can get the spanner. Oh, no. Oh well, fair enough. Now that's fine. The angle of the bucket means it will grip. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I ain't got a problem with that. That's holding it flat there. I'll try and hold it so you can actually see what I'm doing, but sometimes it's a little awkward. There. I think I said in one of the review videos, maybe the one on this set, this This is quite easy to break the spanner. But so far, those that seem to have needed to stay together with a washer have done so quite nicely. So that's that. I don't know how good this is going to be, or if I'll feel like doing more. Maybe. Now this 14, we have to put a... oh, I see. Get a rubber washer. They call it an O-ring then, I suppose, but well, I suppose it is. Slide it through there. Next one, 15, oh, well, it is flowing well now, is the axle. And looking at the instructions, we just push it in. Ooh, now we need the other crank angle, or rather the crank and the angle. The question is, which one have I got? I suppose it lines up there, so I've got the right one, because this one is slightly longer, just a fraction. Okay, so that goes through there. Oh, not a bad fit. And this goes through there. These are stepped, like a ratchet, a bit like partly anyway, a cable tie. Right, we've got another inset parts list error. First up, these washers come pulleys, spacers, thicker versions. It says only one, but you need two, and they don't show up very well at all in what they are like in the inset, and there's plenty of room to be have bigger images. So there we are, I need two of those and a spacer washer. Right, and we need the body or the chassis. What are we doing then? Right, let's get it right. Okay, that goes on there. Need the washer first. This goes through here, and one of these spacer things go on, and it comes off again. Goes on. It's probably needless to say, folks, you'd make a lot better effort of it if I wasn't filming it at the same time. Seems a little forced, to be honest. Get the right hole. What an idiot, eh? Then that goes through there. Okay, got that. Goes all the way through to the other side, but it doesn't show this going through. Interesting. Very interesting. We've got nothing to show here, but this side does. And looking at the next couple of stages on, it goes through as well. But in which case, is there a need for that spacer? Right, we'll have a play. Well, that's got to go on the outside. It is forced. It is forced. Well, let's see what it's like when it's... oh, yeah. That can't be right. That cannot be right, because the front wheels will be all over the place. Let's look further on. It does show it like that. But I'm not going to do it like that, folks, because it's far too forced. So I'm going to remove that. Right. You don't really need those, do you? There's no need for those at all. I can't see a need for them. Maybe there will be later in the build, but let's get back to that again. So they wanted a washer on there, so that goes through, and that goes through there. Get it lined up with the crank somewhere. There we go. There you are. Right. Reasonably even. So I can see where it goes there onto there. There is a bit of play there. It works. Oh, we'll leave it at that, I think. I don't see a need for those two there. Small wheels, the front wheels. Basically, I'll just put, these are quite easy to work with. Push them through. It's seated well that side, so look at the side, because it's pulling over. And what I'm going to do to make sure it's seated on the rims properly, I'll do this with all wheels, whether it's plastic or otherwise, or rather junior. Just make sure they're seated like that. Sometimes you get the tyres not really out of shape as such, but they've been compressed in the box for a while and slightly out of true, you might say. But doing this sort of gets them back in. And then we fit them to the front, which should just clip over. I'll do it this side, you'll be able to see it better. Should just clip over the ends like that. Push down and clip. It's a shame the front isn't quite as robust as the rear of the model. There we are. That's on. I suppose it works just about. It does catch a little bit there. Let's remove it around. Yeah. The crank there does catch the, or rub against the tyre slightly just there. And rear wheels, and I'll do them exactly the same. We've got the large tyres. So before, these are common as a common thing. Doesn't matter which way around you put these, they're the same on these. Again, I'll just push them through. Just pull them over into the rims. Check the other side, still a bit skewiff there. That's one. Number two. Sorry for the siren, what's going on? Probably home time. Tea time. The two tyres. And they don't fit very tight at all. Try the other way. Don't like that. Well, that's rubbish, to be honest. Those are rubbish. They're just going to fall off. Look at that. I'll just adjust the front bucket ever so slightly. And there we have one digger from the Meccano Maker System Junior Truckin tractor set with working bucket. Goes up and down. Quite nice looking. Don't like the rear wheels. That's a bit of a flop, to be honest. A bit of robust play and they're just going to come off. So there you go, folks. Not too bad. Rear wheels are pretty rubbish. They're going to fall off. Meccano, you must try harder.